All right, everyone, welcome to this week's training on one thing I do to help women stop hating their bodies. It is Brianna Wilkerson. I am a holistic health coach. I really support women in finding peace with food, feeling confident in their bodies again, and developing a healthy lifestyle that's more than about their weight. And so today, I've been doing a bunch of different live trainings weekly at this point. It might not always be that way, especially when I do challenges, which one is coming up next month. So you want to stay tuned next week to learn more about that. But I really just wanted to be very intentional with these live trainings in talking about topics I have seen my clients with, the women in my community, just really kind of wrestle with at a soul level. I think when it comes to really walking in your more than your weight journey, it is recognizing that there are certain beliefs and thoughts and words and actions that you're doing and feeling that are not supporting you in really living out the more than your weight lifestyle, right? That's what I want you to feel. I want you to know that you are, you need to develop a healthy lifestyle that's more than about what you weigh. Your health is more than about what you weigh. Your worth is more than about you weigh, and your life is more than about what you weigh, right? So that is what that's what I do. But today I wanted to narrow in and talk a little bit about our relationship with our bodies, because I believe our relationship with our bodies really does drive that relationship with food, that relationship with our weight and all that. So I talked a lot about this too in our Food Freedom Challenge I did back in March on the day 4. Day 4 was on the body, but I wanted to talk about something very blatant and open in the fact that many of us hate our bodies, and hate is a very strong word. But if you really look and see what you're thinking and what you're believing, what you're saying about your body, it comes close to hate. All right. And so what I want to do is I want to break that, because I believe our bodies are beautiful creations of God. Right. And as a Christian, I believe he dwells within my body. So how I see my body, how I treat my body, I need to just change that, because I really believe that one of the best ways that we can show up and truly take care of ourselves is when we do that from a place of love. Okay. So I am just going to make sure everything is working online here as planned, and we'll go from there. Okay, I am online in the Facebook group. Okay. So if you're on live in my Facebook group or you're watching the replay, I am so happy you're here, and I will answer your questions after and help you get started and loving your body. So I actually think I'm going to try to go live on Instagram at the exact same time. I get so distracted sometimes by all of the comments on this stuff. So let's do this live. Can we go live here? Okie doke. So yeah, again, if you're on live or watching the replay, I would love to know you're here. And so this month, has been the new rebranding of my podcast, the More Than Your Weight podcast. And it's been so fun to, dive deeper into this More Than Your Weight journey with so many of you. And so many of you have reached out and said just how the podcast has impacted you. And if you haven't listened to the More Than Your Weight podcast, that you definitely want to check it out. All right. Try and do it all so you don't see my pile of clothes over there. Oh gosh. And then it's a work in progress. So let me go live here on Insta. Okay. All right. So we are officially on live on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm going to be looking at the camera on Facebook just so you guys know, just because I wasn't able to do the two thing because I always get it messed up. But anyways, I am here today again to talk about one thing I do to help women stop hating their bodies, right? So again, I mentioned in the beginning of this that we as women are, through our words, our actions, and our thoughts, really hating our bodies. And you might not think I'm hating my body, but when you really break down what you're thinking and feeling, it is close to hate. And so let's talk about that. So I would love to hear from you as we're starting, whether you're watching live or in the comments, or watching the replay. Let me know in the comments. Again, safe space for you. What do you feel about your body? Like on a normal basis, are you like, oh my gosh, my body's a wonderland, as John Mayer would say? Or are you constantly kind of feeling a nagging feeling like you need to do something to change your body? Like there's something wrong with the way it looks, the way it operates, all that sort of stuff. Let me know. That's my storage up there, just so you guys can see. You can't see it on Facebook, you can see it on Instagram. So yeah, I want to talk about how, you know, as a coach, how I really support women in finding peace with food, feeling confident in their bodies, and developing a healthy lifestyle that's more than about what they weigh. So today, again, I'm recapping this. If you're watching the replay, we're going to talk about one thing I do to help women stop hating their bodies specifically. And that one thing is helping them get to the root and get over their bad body fever. Now, this term, bad body fever, was coined by Jane Hirschman and Carol Munter in their book, When Women Stop Hating Their Bodies, freeing yourself from food and weight obsession. Like, I mean, the intuitive eating book, all that, like, this is just my jam, because I truly believe that when women can stop hating their bodies, find peace with food, feel confident in their bodies again, they will no longer make decisions, health decisions, out of a place of hate, disdain, shame, or guilt, but they'll want to develop a healthy lifestyle that's not just about their weight. Okay. And that is so important for us, because your weight will change. And your weight isn't the only factor that's important when it comes to your health. All right. There's so many other things that are important when it comes to your health. And I've talked a lot about this in free trainings on the More Than Your Weight podcast. So definitely go check that out. And obviously you can always book a call with me to chat more about it. But we need to get over our bad body fever. And this is something I want to help you do specifically in the free mini sessions that I have available this month. And so the next few days is the last time to book one of these spots on my calendar, right? This Love Your Body Breakthrough session is a 20-minute session where together we can just chat through where are you at in your relationship with food, your body, yourself, your lifestyle, your health, and what's one specific thing that you can do to help you move you forward and break through in those areas. And this is a free coaching session. So you're going to want to either message me or book that in the next couple of days, because that's only have a few spots left and I'm only opening it up for the next couple of days. Or you can go to madewell345.com/strategy, or again, message me and I'll send you the link. This is ideally for if you've not hopped on a call with me before, this is ideally for you. Okay. All right. So let's talk about bad body fever. Again, such a great book. I have not finished it yet, but on my way. I'm reading like 6 or 7 books right now because I can't pick and choose which ones I really want to read. But let's talk about bad body fever. Kind of, these are some notes from what you know, this book, and also just me and my journey and my journey of coaching women in my own journey. So bad body fever basically is like anytime you're feeling, and I'm going to use this word, and I don't like this word because of all the connotations that and all the feelings it brings up for women, but I'm just going to use it with how they say it. Basically the word fat, right? So each time a woman is feeling large, fat, or whatever, she sometimes, not all the time, but like you could be feeling self-hatred or self-disgust with yourself, which is what our society supports. You know, there's so many people who have done a lot of stuff on body image and self-esteem. And we say from a young age that we want our daughters, we want all girls, we want all of our young boys to have self-esteem. But yet from a very young age, we are trained to believe that, oh my goodness, you're only seen as beautiful, only seen as worth it, only seen as valued when you have a certain size and when your body looks or is shaped in a certain way. And where does that leave us? That leaves us hating our bodies, right? So we want to stop hating our bodies, ladies, and we want to do it in a way that supports us. And it's not just like, oh, I love my body and you don't mean it. We really want to start meaning that. And so this idea of bad body fever kind of grows out of culture. It kind of grows out of our own, own experiences. Like I believe like culture kind of informed my experience, but I believe I also affirmed it. Like I had a role to play. Let's not just shift blame on someone else. We have a role to play as well. It takes time to develop. For you, it may have happened when you were a young girl. It may have happened, and even this is something guys face too. I'm not just saying that women face this, but as a woman, I'm serving women. I'm talking about women. For most girls, I mean, this quote really stuck out to me. Like for most girls, fat talk becomes their mother tongue. Just let that sit with you for a second. Mother tongue refers to your native tongue, the tongue you speak in. Like if you grew up speaking English, or if, you know, some people in different countries, different cultures and nations have a dialect or then a main language, or just something they mainly speak and feel comfortable with. And so if your mother tongue is basically bad body fever talk, that's a problem. That means you naturally speak and think that way. And it is not helping you. You may think, oh, when I say and do stuff like this, it drives me to diets. But guess what? You're just trying to deal with something that diets cannot solve. Diets are not a long-term solution when you're doing it out of a place of wanting to fix yourself. Again, I think there's a time and place for certain diets. I've talked about that in my Food Freedom Challenge. I talk about that in the work that I do with clients. But I believe most of us are going to it to fix something. So bad body fever, or, you know, bad talk or thoughts about our body has really anything to do with our body. It's a displacement. It's a feeling of there's something else we're feeling or doing or going on in our body, and we are trying to deal with it through how we think or treat our body. This was my story. Okay. So growing up, I guess I was a little bit, I don't want to say overweight, but I just was not concerned about health and wellness or whatever. Even though I was exposed to a lot of diet culture, I didn't find my worth or value in it. But then I started playing sports, and let me drink a sip of my tea. I started playing sports and I lost weight, and I started to get affirmed for that. So I started to believe that when I'm smaller, I am seen and I belong and I'm worth more. Now, fast forward to big change happened in my life. Hurricane Ivan hit, you know, my friends went away for school and we were living with my grandparents for time. There's just a lot of change, and I felt things were out of control. And what could I control? I'm like, oh my goodness, I can control my grades. And I also can control how much I eat and how much I exercise. And so I became obsessed with that, right? I started thinking and saying my body wasn't small enough, all this sort of stuff, and started not taking care of and nourishing my body because I still had bad body fever. Like we think bad body fever is like when you're just saying, when you're like overweight or whatever, or heavier, but it's no. Even as smaller women, even women who are what we would see as healthy and whatever, we could have bad body fever. The struggle with food, the struggle with our bodies, the struggle with our weight has nothing to do with the actual number of the size and scale. Again, it has to do with some other things. We are displacing how we feel. And most often there's an insecurity within us, or there's a stressor going on. And that was my case. There was just some stressors going on. And I was just trying to deal with it through my relationship with food and my body and myself. But then that didn't solve anything, because fast forward to the end of high school, I felt stressed and overwhelmed. I allowed myself to eat foods I didn't normally eat, and foods became yummy and good and made me feel good, which they do, certain foods. And I went to food for comfort. And of course, that cycle of bad body fever started to happen all over again. And it just went different. I was eating food became what I would say is more of like a friend. It was like something I ran to for comfort and so forth, right? And so it does not matter what side you're on. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you're feeling like I eat too much or eat too little, or I'm not this size, or I was this size. You can still have this. And I was talking to someone on my 90-minute food freedom intensive, which is one of my favorite things to do with clients. And she mentioned how she went from a size, I think it was size 24 to 8, and thought that when she reached that size, she would feel better, but she didn't. And it was the same thing in my story. I did not feel better when I was smaller because I had this quote unquote bad body fever, this poor relationship with my body. Because when we start hating our bodies, we turn against ourselves. Our body carries us. It's this physical thing that represents us, and yet we are constantly at war with it. And so the consequences of having something like bad body fever or things that you're saying about yourself is running the diets. It's even when you reach your goal weight, you're never actually satisfied. It's, in the book, it talks about, in one of the workshops, one of the ladies says, as long as there was some new pill or program to buy or try, I had hope. Meaning, as long as there was a new diet out there, I had hope that one day I would feel peace with food, my body, and myself. But if you've been on that dieting roller coaster cycle, you know that that's not the case. You cannot diet the pain away. You can't diet your feelings away. You can't get into another size and they go away. I know. And so for me, when that shift happened, I struggled with this years. And I've been coaching women who've told me that they've struggled with it for decades. And it's time that we break through and let this stop. It is time we truly stop hating their bodies, because what would happen? Listen to me. What would happen if we as women stopped hating our bodies? Like, tell me right now, what would happen if you're watching this, watching the replay, comments, and you just respond back to me. If you don't want to respond in a public way, email me, message me. What would happen if you stopped hating your body? Right? My goodness, you would probably show up. I asked this on one of my Food Freedom Intensive recently. And she said, you know what? I feel called to a purpose, and I feel called to lead certain women in a very powerful way. And if I was stopped hating my body and was not concerned, I would sit there and talk with them and not be concerned with what I'm saying or how I look, but I would be more concerned on how I can serve them. That's one. Or maybe it's like, I would treat myself better. I would make more time for self-care. I would make more time for really just things that I enjoy and pamper myself a little bit. And, again, it does not, I was talking to someone else this morning, it does not matter if you're small or if you're big, there can still be a discontent with your body, which, by the way, I don't like the word small or big, but that's just how we all refer to it. And so what we need to do, the cure, one way that I lead women through is basically unconditional acceptance of your body. And, if you've ever had kids, and even when it's hard, even when your kids maybe have done something to you, there's something about the unconditional love you have for your child. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they keep you up at night. It doesn't matter if they say things and treat you horribly sometimes. There's still this love you have for them. And what if the unconditional love we have for our kids or our family or those in our loved ones in our life, we also had for ourselves? Now, again, this is taking years for you to develop bad body fever, so it's not going to happen in an instant. But it can really it can really help you ditch the diets, stop trying to lose weight out of a place of shame or guilt. Nothing wrong with trying to lose weight, but it's our intention. And you can accept your body regardless of the size. So one of the affirmations I give almost every client, I love creating affirmations or statements of truth that they can positively affirm, because again, this is a belief thing and that will help rewrite the beliefs, is I am loving my body no matter what size, shape, or scale number it's at. Say it with me. I am loving my body no matter what size, shape, or scale number it's at. Say it again. I am loving my body no matter what size, shape, or scale number it's at. Because when you can say that, that is when you start the unconditional love for your body. And when you start saying that and believing that, you're going to start feeling it and you're going to start acting differently. And maybe, again, this is something new. This is new territory for you. And that is what I love to help my clients with through my 90-minute intensive, through my 6-month program. And so if you want a kind of taste of what I do, you're definitely going to want to book this free session, the Love Your Body Breakthrough session. Okay. Please, 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 please message me or let me know that you're interested, because I want to put a spot in the calendar so we can just talk on the phone and really kind of start this of really having you break through and stop the hate, but, bringing on the unconditional love for your body. All right. So to summarize, I just think we all have a little bit of bad body fever, and we're constantly thinking and believing something negative about our body. It has become our mother tongue to really say these things about our body. And when we start hating our bodies, it's something else happening. It's not on all this talk. It's not really just what's our bodies. There's something else going on. So I help women figure out what else is going on as well, but also really helping them start to have that unconditional love for themselves and for their bodies. So I would love for you to just share your thoughts, share your answers to any of the questions I asked and your takeaways. And then also just message me and let me know if you're interested in this Love Your Body Breakthrough session, okay? It has been so fun to journey with you this morning. And if you have not listened to the More Than Your Weight podcast, you're definitely going to want to check it out. Definitely join my Facebook group if you're not in the More Than Your Weight's women's community, but more so than not, please, more so than anything else, please book that session with me, because I think it's one thing to hear information. It's one thing to be able to share and process and have a safe space to do that. Okay. That's it. Grateful for you all. And let me know if you're interested in that session.